not allowing the legitimation, the legalization of our loss of homeland, of our dispossession, of our genocide, without simultaneously addressing the issues of history, of acknowledgement, of education, of cultural heritage, of a right of return, and of access to the sea. So this decision has to be made by the Armenian state, but all Armenians, and also all Turks. Do we want no preconditions, establish those relations with an exchange of notes, open up those embassies, and then work on that relationship, or do you want to put it all on the table right now? But this is where we are right now, and this is something that has to do with Armenian national security. And the question that has been begged is, especially with what's going on in Turkey today, and we wish them well to come out of this situation more strong in their democracy and their commitment to normalize relations with neighbors. But is Turkey ready in the European spirit, in the good example of post-war Germany, to face its history, to open frontiers, to normalize relations, and to give resolution to the variety of issues that have come to us from history? This is an issue for Armenians and Turks. It's the Kurdish issue, and a variety of other matters are germane here. If we go back to the Tanzimat era, it seems that the Western partners of Turkey, and even the Armenians, sometimes very naively thought that with each wave of reforms and documents and protocols and agreements that there would be some improvement. And each time the situation got worse. And now we need to see the beef and to make sure that we are in possession of our rights, that we, as smaller and weaker as we are with respect to the stronger neighbor in Turkey, also have a self-respect of history and rights. And we want to reintroduce the symmetry in our relations. Either no preconditions by anybody in any way, or put it all on the table. And the U.S. resolution that will be in committee at the end of this week, and perhaps in plenary session later on, is very, very important. And the Armenian organizations and public in Armenia deserve a lot of credit as Americans to keep that issue on the agenda. But first and foremost, that resolution is one that seeks to maintain the integrity of American history. And that is what this administration and this Congress have to decide on, whether the time has come for the politicians in the United States, the administration, the State Department, and the Congress to say that we are masters of our history. We stand by our words and our ambassadors and the cables that were the primary, unprecedented, and comprehensive documentation of the first genocide of the 20th century. And I'm very proud that Ambassador Evans is with us here today. Thank you. And this leads us to Mountainous Karabakh by international law. Talked about the belonging of Mountainous Karabakh under international law. I don't think so. Mountainous Karabakh did it by the book, not only under pretty precepts of international law and customary international practice, but under controlling Soviet legislation at the time. It decided to leave Soviet Azerbaijan, which had no juridical identity at the time. It did so under the law. And for those international lawyers who know about the Montevideo Convention on the Constitution of States and their recognition, Mountainous Karabakh satisfies each and every criterion of that convention. I, as a member of Heritage, as a citizen of Armenia, have been a proponent of recognition of Mountainous Karabakh from the early days. At that time, people in the administration, based on the OSCE peace process, did not think it wise and to to recognize and to allow the peace process to take its course. And I think Armenia has done that for the last 16 years, longer, 18 years since Helsinki, when the peace process began. And since then, what has happened? For a world that talks about rule of law and democracy and the application of standards, our partners in the West recognize Kosovo, and I don't buy the sui generis argument that it's original, it's unique circumstances. And our other partner, the Russian Federation and a few others, recognize Abkhazia. Where is the rule of law? And if it's not the rule of law, and it's the rule of interest in this world of ours, then Armenia has to think as to which is going to be the first nation to recognize in its constitutional frontiers Mountainous Karabakh. And which world nation will recognize Karabakh, Kosovo, and Abkhazia all at once. Then we'll talk about morality and ethics and the rule of law.